Stop lying to me, Mercy. Everybody's laughing at me outside.
Chidi, please calm down.
Then tell me the truth. Whose child am I raising?
Mercy sold second-hand clothes at a small store near Mile 1 Market in Port Harcourt. She was 32. Quick with a smile, her husband, Chidi, worked as a security guard at a nearby private school. They had lived together 7 years in a small rented room in GRA. They paid rent on time, kept Sundays for church, and celebrated small wins with a plate of jollof and cold soft drinks. Life was ordinary and comfortable. Mercy liked being noticed. At the market, she knew regular customers and enjoyed gossip that smelled of palm oil and street pepper. She liked when someone complimented a dress she'd fixed. One of those regulars was Daniel, a building contractor who came to the market sometimes to buy rope, nails, or a tin of paint. Daniel was funny in a dry way, with a laugh that made people soften. He helped Mercy carry heavy boxes once, and afterward he kept finding reasons to stop at her store. He would ask how business was, joke about the weather, and sometimes bring a small sachet of powdered milk. Little kindnesses that warmed Mercy in ways she did not expect. He had a way of making Mercy feel heard after difficult days. He listened to stories about customers who tried to haggle too low, and to Mercy's petty complaints about roof leaks. One evening, after a late market day and a sudden rainstorm, Daniel sat with Mercy under a tall awning and shared palm wine. They laughed about a vendor who tried to sell shoes by the kilo. The night felt private and safe, and when it ended, Mercy walked home lighter than usual. The affair did not start as a plan. It grew like a vine, quiet and slow. A touch here, a shared umbrella there. Then a few secret meetings after the market closed. Mercy told herself she would stop. She told herself the small rebellion would not hurt anyone. She still cooked for Chidi, still ironed his uniform. The smallness of what she was doing made it feel harmless. Months later, Mercy realized she was pregnant. She learned this in the same small private clinic where women from the market went, because the nurse there kept things quick and cheap. The test was 2 pink lines.
What do I do now?
Mercy sat on the clinic chair and felt every small thing in her life tilt. Panic came first. Then an odd rush of tenderness for the life inside her. She hid the test result. She hid it because she feared losing her marriage, feared her mother's words, feared being the kind of scandal that ends with doors shut at church. Mercy learned to hide the belly under loose dresses and shawls, to say she was tired, that work had been long. She went for clinic visits when Chidi worked night shifts. She arranged for the old friend at the clinic to give her appointment cards without details. When Amara arrived, a loud baby with a shock of hair and eyes that watched everything, Mercy felt whole and terrified. She named her Amara because it felt like a gentle word. Grace. For the first weeks, Mercy lived on adrenaline and milk. She fed Amara in the dark, changed her, and learned the small breathing rhythm of another human. At first, Chidi accepted the baby with a quiet pride. He held her carefully, walked slowly, and told anyone who asked that his daughter was beautiful. He was proud in the small, silent way he knew how. And to save for a bigger room soon. Rumours started at the market, like stray breeze. Eze, Chidi's younger brother, came one afternoon and hugged Mercy, carrying a bag of fish. He lingered in a way that made Mercy uncomfortable.
She looks like someone I saw.
Who?
I think she looks like Daniel's family.
He said finally.
Babies always look like many people. Babies always look the same.
Mercy laughed, a little too loud. It was an excuse to hide her heart. Babies always look like many people, Mercy said. Rumor moves fast in Port Harcourt. Within days, the market had its version of the story. And once the story left the market, it found ways to reach Chidi. He's the kind of man who keeps things in his head until they press and need release. At first, he kept watching Mercy. Small things like timing of clinic visits, the whisper of calls in Mercy's pocket. The truth made him slow and brittle. One night, a friend at the market, who thought she was doing Chidi a favor, sent him a photo on WhatsApp. It was a photo of Daniel at a small family party with a child who had the same strong eyes and crease at the eyebrow as Amara. The friend added a caption, "Look familiar?" The picture felt like a small punch. That evening, Chidi came home and sat at the small table by the window. Mercy was already nervous. She could feel the question in the room like a fault line.
Is Daniel the father?
No, he is not.
She lied. No, she said. He is not. It was the wrong choice. Chidi felt the lie like cold rain. He packed a small bag and moved to his sister's house while he thought. He filed for divorce later, neat and efficient, because pain had made him decisive. The neighbors took sides. Some believed Mercy, others believed Chidi. Mercy received fewer customers. Some people gossiped openly at the store. Word reached Mercy's mother in the village. She called once and then stopped. Pride can be heavy in small towns, and Mercy felt it settle on her shoulders like wet cloth. Daniel, when he heard the rumors, did not shout. He came and sat in a chair.
If you want a DNA test, we can do that. I will help you. If I am the father, I will do right by the child,
he said quietly. Daniel was not cruel. He was honest in a way that made Mercy both grateful and guilty. I will help you, he added. Mercy agreed. The local lab they used was small and noisy, with the smell of bleach and cheap air freshener. Nurses worked with professional faces, and the test took a few hours. When the result came, it was not what the market had expected. Daniel was not the father. It was a surprise, and it made the gossip look, if not wrong, then incomplete. Now, the whisper turned to accusation. Mercy had not been honest. Why had she hidden? Who then was the father? People loved certainty. Mercy did not have it. Chidi's anger shifted into something more precise. He felt betrayed not only by another man, but by Mercy's secret. He filed the divorce papers with claims of adultery. In court, the papers were efficient and cold. No shouting, only signatures. Mercy felt the walls of her life shrink. Her mother told her frankly to stop asking for pity and hold the child up with her head. Mercy wanted to fight, wanted to tell the whole story about years ago, about a time before she knew the sound of the baby she now loved. But the details were like glass she did not dare hold. She took Amara to the clinic, bought soap, and tried to keep the store going. Kindness came in small packages. An old customer gave her extra money. A neighbor gave a packet of rice. Daniel bought diapers sometimes and left them by the store. Because the test ruled out Daniel, more probing followed. Mercy gave more samples for more tests. People asked her about nights long past, as if the past was an open field everyone could walk through and gather what they needed. She grew tired. The gossip burned like sunburn. She tried to remember every night of her life like a ledger and count whether something from years ago could explain this.
Stop lying to me, Mercy. Everybody's laughing at me outside.
Chidi, please calm down.
Then tell me the truth. Whose child am I raising?
Time is a strange friend. While they waited for more answers, Mercy and Chidi had moments they both regretted. One rainy afternoon, Chidi stood in front of Mercy at the market without his uniform, wearing a simple shirt and looking smaller than usual.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because I was scared. I was ashamed. I thought it would ruin us.
You could have trusted me.
I tried to keep us safe. I thought I knew how.
The divorce continued because both of them could not pretend the trust had not been broken. In court, the judge signed papers. The state watched, and a marriage ended in forms. It was not the end of life. It was the rearranging of it. Then came a new twist. The final genetic report arrived and named a man Mercy had not thought about in years. Kunle Adeniran. Kunle was an electrician who had once fixed a light at Mercy's cousin's compound a long time ago. He had told a few jokes then and asked to borrow palm kernels. Mercy remembered the night vaguely. A party, laughter, one brief closeness. The memory felt like a tiny, dangerous thing she had put away in a drawer labeled before. Kunle's name on the report was like a clap. When the lab called Kunle and told him, he was shocked. He came to the market looking like a man who had been yanked awake. He had to confirm the tests, sign forms, and then he accepted responsibility. He was not rich, but he was steady. Chidi reacted with mixed feelings. For months, he had raged against a present he thought he understood. The baby, the affair, the betrayal. Now the facts had changed the map. He felt foolish and sad. He had loved Mercy in the way he loved certain steady things, without theatre. The market watched the new development eagerly. Some customers returned to Mercy's store with a softer look. Others kept whispering. Mercy's mother came to town for a week and then left, stern, in the way of mothers who measure their daughters in quiet terms. Mercy had to explain the situation to Amara's extended family, who were confused and sometimes cruel. She learned to answer small questions. Yes, the baby will have one father now who will help. Life rearranged itself slowly. Kunle started showing up with small gifts for Amara and with a determined humility. He helped get the baby's birth certificate fixed, paid part of medical bills, and slowly explained he would make efforts to be there. He did not fight for public attention. He preferred to come early and leave quietly. Mercy watched this new man with wonder and suspicion. He had not been part of their lives, but now he tried to be present. Daniel, who had earlier offered help, stepped back with dignity. He still cared for Mercy in a gentle way, but he did not want to be part of a life measured by scandal. "I will help where I can," he told Mercy once. "I do not want to cause trouble." He continued to leave diapers sometimes and to send an encouraging message now and then. Mercy accepted the help because Amara needed warmth, not moral judgment. Chidi tried to rebuild his life. He kept his work at the school and began to teach morning soccer to the pupils. Slowly, he made new friends and found a smaller apartment nearer the stadium. He grieved openly at times, and in small, private ways, he forgave himself for being a man who had moved too quickly to judge. Forgiveness for him was a slow process, like washing dishes over a long period. Mercy learned to hold the truth better. She found support in unexpected places. An older widow at the market who had been through more storms. A cousin who taught her how to count money more carefully. A nurse who gave parenting tips and sometimes listened while Mercy cried. Mercy worked more, sold more, and kept Amara safe with a steady faith that real problems require steady work. Months passed and life opened new routines. Kunle and Mercy arranged legal papers to confirm fatherhood. He registered with the child's birth certificate and began to support Amara. There were small, funny moments between all of them. Once at the market, Kunle came to Mercy's store holding a large bunch of plantain that had somehow fallen from his motorcycle. He apologized like a man who had been caught with a guilty smile. The market vendor who sold paper laughed and said, "See, your girl has a father who brings plantain." The laugh caught tension for a moment and everyone in the store smiled. Mercy learned that humor could be a bomb. The funeral of Mercy's mother came as a quiet, heavy thing months later. The village was full of people with slow steps and soft voices. Mercy stood near the grave with Amara on her hip, while Chidi, Kunle and Daniel watched from different corners. The funeral brought them all face to face with grief and with the need for calm. There was no dramatic reunion, only a few steady hands offering plates of food and small polite words. Mercy felt a strange, heavy peace in the world. He sensed that life was strange and terrible and ordinary all at once. In the months after, Mercy and Chidi came to a practical agreement. They would not revive their marriage, but they would keep a quiet, civil relationship for the child's sake. Chidi promised to visit on some Sundays. Kunle promised to take Amara to basic checkups. And Daniel promised to help when needed. They made a simple rule. Arguments would stop at the doorstep of the child. If anyone violated that, they would lose the privilege of seeing Amara. It was a small contract that worked more on honor than on legal threat. Amara grew into a smiling child who loved to clap at the market and who learned to call Kunle Dad in the easy way children do. She would sit on Kunle's lap and listen while he told stories about fixing lights, and she would run to Chidi when he came with a small gift. Daniel would visit with funny jollof sometimes, trying not to make things awkward. Mercy watched them and felt a complicated gratitude for truth finally found, for help finally given, and for the messy, imperfect way people can change. Years later, When someone asked Mercy what happened, she would tell the story plainly. She would say she had made a mistake, hid the truth out of shame, and paid a high price. The city goes on. People sell and buy, laugh and gossip, and life stitches itself into new patterns. And Amara grows up with a life that is messy and loving. Exactly the kind she deserves.
Future is bright.
I love you, Mommy.
I love you too, my angel.